All right. Happy weekend to me. Happy weekend to all. I say weekend because I would be lying if I said it's Saturday. It's actually Sunday. Sunday evening. We're getting ready to end the day. Yesterday I was just tired and I was ready to get home. But here we are. Welcome. So I am doing a little bit of something different that I would like to now be kind of my overall thing. And that's setting my life up in different compartments, I guess, if that makes sense. Excuse me. I think I brought this up before, a YouTuber, Mady, and she does, not only, she doesn't like schedule day by day, well, she does, but she looks at the year as a quarter. So she'll do different quarters in life, and then she'll look at specific, like, pillars. I researched the actual guy who created this, the pillars of life. I think she does a couple. I took 8, and I'm working these 8 pillars into my quarter. So I'm already planning first quarter for next year, January. But I actually want to start doing this now so I can kind of get in the groove of it. I tried to do this last week, but I didn't have this in front of me. I didn't write everything down. So I wrote it down this time so I can at least have like a template to look at. So I'm going to see how this works. Hopefully it works out because I'm trying to perfect it so this can be my norm. Anyway, hello, welcome. Happy Sunday. It is November 17th, 2024. So what does this week look like? I think it's been really successful in some of these areas already looking. So first off, socially. Social-wise has been, I think, the largest part of this week. So on last Sunday, the group of friends who I did dinner with the previous Sunday, we decided to go out and do something that we normally do, or that we did for years together. We went to go see a drag show, and it just felt so nice because it felt like coming back to ourselves. And yes, watching it just made me realize how much I missed it so much. And then afterwards, I told you about Clint. We did our normal thing. We got in the car and literally just went to his house. I parked my car in front of his house, and we just sat and talked for, like, it was until 9 o'clock. So yeah, it was like 4 or 5 hours, which did it again yesterday. That's why I went home and fell straight asleep. It's because it was a long day. We went out to get Thai, and then, yeah, afterwards, the two of us, like, our friend had to leave, and then we were talking, and we were like, okay, we're going to do something different. So he was talking about, like, music that he's into recently. That's, like, most of what we talk about. And he was like, I've listening to music that I listened to when I was, like, 14. So I was like, okay, I have, like, playlist of, like, different eras in my life, and one is 15. So I was like, okay, pick a song that defined you back then. I'll send a song that defined me back then, and then, we'll play those together. We did that, and then we talked about movies and music, and, how great it felt to have someone in your life who, he brought it up, like, he worded it the best way, just in a room with a bunch of people, like, you try to talk to them, you try to relate to them, and they laugh along with you, but they don't understand your jokes like another person does. And that's how he is. And it's so awesome to have him back in my life. And our friend who previously, like, we have been friends because of our seasonal job, but this was, I think, one of the first times we've actually spent, like, time together the way we did. And I'm happy that we had a good impression during the time when we did work together, where she's like, you are a really good friend of mine. I don't know, it doesn't feel like, every time someone says that, it doesn't feel like I actually feel that, or like I present myself in a way that I actually can be someone's friend. So her saying that was awesome. So that's been this week. So socially, occupationally, everything job related. Nothing crazy job-wise. I haven't had any interviews. I actually have an interview coming up for, what is it? It's a job coming up. Oh, I interviewed for another part-time business. Well, was actually supposed to be full-time, but it's part-time. I think I'm really getting my ducks in a row when it comes to work-wise, because the job that's starting in February, I want to keep it. I really do. But there's another part of my career that I want to live out. And I think I found that, again, I need to stop. It's funny because it's been a week since I've had this conversation with the camera, but if anyone's watching the videos, it feels like I'm a broken record, and I talk about the same like fucking 4 things every single time I get on the camera, which is true. That's what life is currently. So yeah, I might, you know what, considering this, I might, if I could figure out how to edit, do like something throughout the day, just so it's literally not just me saying the same, just talking about the same thing every single time I get on here. But yeah, occupational wise, nothing's changed. Physical wise, this has been another big area. I'm getting back into my flow of what I did previously, where I was getting up early. I was starting the day doing yoga and then meditating and stretching. I'm getting back. I'm trying some different stretch videos for like full body stretches. I started one on Tuesday, did again Wednesday and Thursday, and I could already tell the difference. Something else that is really, really cool that I never did before. Usually, like, I have a walking trail next to my house that I'm, this week, I don't know, I didn't let myself do it this week, but I may tomorrow. I never ran it. I would always walk. I would every once in a while try to jog, and nothing would go crazy. I wasn't able to stay on track. I jogged around my living room today, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but I jogged for 2 minutes straight, which I never, ever did before. I was fucking, the lowest I was for a long time was 266. So going from 420 pounds to now this, like, it feels amazing to be like, I can actually jog. And then one of my stretches I did yesterday from when I started on Tuesday, and I could actually do it's a deep squat. I was able to actually do it with both of my feet on the floor. When I would do it during the video, I would always be on my tiptoes because my legs wouldn't allow me to actually have my feet flat on the ground. So that's a big one for me. Meditation I'll talk about that later. Environment. So this is about your home, nature, work. Is there anything in your environment that you're changing to make it better? I don't think so. Work is, I don't know if I can change too much of it. I guess changing how I react to things. Yesterday, I I went on ChatGPT and I looked up okay, can you give me some pointers on how I can be more assertive? Because there's been points overall in my life, I feel like I've heard from people that say that I'm too agreeable, and I don't necessarily believe that. I believe more that when someone says something, I agree with what they're saying at the time, but I guess that would be considered agreeable. So I want to be assertive with myself, where I want to be not only seen as someone who will, bend over backwards for their team, but will also take into account their own well-being in those times. So yeah, I guess that's kind of environment, wanting to be more, not only, I guess not agreeable, but more, I keep saying assertive. I guess I'm going to stick with that word. That's it. Intellectual. This is more on the school side. Still completing my MBA. A whole week I've been submitting this one assignment, and every time, she just gave me an answer back. She was like, oh, it's not good enough. With her feedback was literally, it's not good enough. And I'm like, what would make it better? I just needed an answer on what should I submit in it? What else should I put to make it known that, I'm learning? And she hasn't given me anything back yet. So I'm going to wait until this week to try to submit it again and hopefully close this class, because I have 4 classes left. It doesn't sound a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot. So I want to get them done as soon as possible. Financial wise, has not been, I don't always like talking about money, but this week I haven't been too great with finances. Been pretty short on things, but yeah, we're getting through. Emotional wise, I haven't had any like crazy outbreaks with emotions. I've been pretty mellow this week. Yeah, nothing crazy. And then spiritual, I would say this would be like mindfulness. So this is where the meditation comes in. I'm doing an old meditation video that I did previously, and I still love it, so I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah, it's been nice to do those days in a row. I feel like it's getting easier to visualize things, because in the video it always says like, okay, breathe in, have it expand your belly, and then contract, picture a light in front of you. And every day I do it, it feels like I'm getting closer to like back to what I was previously, which is nice. I had to just tell myself, it may feel like it's difficult this time to do it, but it's completely different from the first time I did it. Or it's easier than the first time around. So to just keep sticking with it. What does next week look like? Next week, I'm doing a lot of, I said interviews. I feel like every single time I say I'm working a lot and I'm doing a lot like school and work wise, I actually don't feel like it's filling enough of my time up. It's more of just words. So I am wanting to get back into volunteering, just because it's, those hours that I'm not doing any like work-wise stuff or school, I want to be able to actually be doing something else. So it's interesting. I've never done these before, but I've interviewed again, but I'm actually doing my orientation there's a World War museum that I am going to start doing. Back in the day, I keep saying back in the day as if it's so long ago. It's 2021, 2022 area. I was doing like research papers just as like a hobby. I love history, and I love specifically like military history, like learning about the different types of weapons that were used versus the like evolution of those weapons. Like the strategy behind like why one army did this thing versus another. Or, why they paused when it came to, during doing a specific task inside of, whatever like decade or, century they were in. Why were wars won and why were they lost? What was the mindset and thought behind it? So I thankfully, like, I don't know too much about World War I. So, I know very little about it. So I want to be able to work in something like this so I can, not only use my passion of history, but do it in a way that I'm able to help in some way. So I have that interview this week. I also have an interview Friday for, I'm applying to, it's called CASA. CASA organization is for working with the court system. You're basically like an advocate for a child who's going through the, whatever, they're needing the court system for. You are basically like the advocate or like the big brother, big sister for this child. So I'll be interviewing with them. I'm excited for that. I have more to tell you about next week, like the week following, because I get to do something really cool. So I'm excited to talk about that. I'm excited to get through the end of the year. To be honest, I don't feel like I have a lot planned. And I feel like I'm really just jonesing for next, like January to happen, just because I'm ready to see a difference. I'm ready to, blossom when it comes to things. Oh, sorry, school-wise. I am officially admitted into ASU. I was doing earned admission before. I'm finally admitted. It happened yesterday. So it's a little nerve-wracking because it's like all these years. Literally, I've been taking classes with ASU since 2016. I'm officially a student. I finally got everything done so I can start classes. It's going to be weird actually doing it. I also haven't, even though I've logged in and like have actually looked at classes, I haven't applied for anything. I need to because they're closing fast. Anyway, that's kind of it. I don't have much else. I'll see you next week. Bye.